I'm gonna this time I'm gonna to do a commentary on a guy called the Mysterious Mr. Enter. I was thinking about doing a commentary on him since a long time because he's really helpful. A lot of people do hate him, and he's a fucking brony who thinks every show must be like My Little Pony or they will suck. That's his only argument about something. So let's start with his video about the Bubsy cartoon, which was a really good show.
What could possibly go wrong?
Oh, I don't know. How about everything? Like every single thing possible.
Your video went wrong. That's the only thing that went wrong, actually. Not the show, because the show was really good.
Today I brought you a real gem of animated shit, the Bubsy cartoon pilot. Back in the late 80s and early 90s, video game mascots began to jump on the Sonic bandwagon, trying to create smart-talking protagonists.
And they did it because Bubsy was really good. And it was way better than Sonic and Mario, because this game sucks.
And 9 times out of 10 they were horrible. Actually, the only success story I can think of off the top of my head is Gex. And that's because his dialogue was written and acted by an actual comedian. The worst of them all, though, had to be Bubsy.
Are you stupid? The actuality, Sonic has to be the worst Bubsy ripoff.
He had 4 video games, and one of them is often considered to be one of the worst games ever made.
Bubsy 3D was one of the best games ever made, while Sucker Nigario 69 was one of the worst games ever made, and Dr. Literature Club was the worst game ever made.
But we're not here to talk about that. After all, that's what JonTron is here for. Instead, we're here to talk about the cartoon. Yes, Bubsy had a cartoon. Actually, it only had a pilot. Yes, this fascinating piece of shit was so bad that it didn't get picked up for an actual cartoon. In the early 90s, when there was no quality control of kids' cartoons. Yeah, it's that bad. Why is it so bad? Well, for starters, the cartoon never shuts the fuck up.
You shall shut the fuck up instead. Because they're always saying things that matter for life. Because Bubsy always said important things that humanity must understand, and he used his tips to live.
This is a 22-minute cartoon, and there is not 1 second of silence. It doesn't take a moment to rest or breathe. It's just constant noise. And that wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't for Bubsy's annoying voice.
Come on, snap to, Mr. Basket Case. It's me, the Prince of Personality, Bubsy!
Bubsy's voice is still better than your voice. You couldn't be you couldn't be a voicer to a character in anything because your voice is horrible.
His voice is nails on chalkboard grating, and I know it is because they actually use the nails on chalkboard sound effect. Twice! Now let's talk about the running joke.
What could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong?
Do you know how many times that line is spoken throughout this 22 minutes? 10 times! They say it 10 times in 22 minutes. That doesn't seem like a lot, but it gets grating very fast. And look, the episode is even titled, What Could Possibly Go Wrong? That's not the only running joke that they abuse. In fact, they've got like 3 jokes that they repeatedly use 20 times. They clearly missed something about running jokes. If it wasn't funny the first time, chances are it's not going to be funny the 50th.
But they were funny.
You could make it funny by building it up or changing the context. Otherwise, it would get annoying very quickly. Let's begin, shall we?
What could possibly go wrong?
The title sequence shows us what we're in for. Quite clearly, animation on speed that never shuts the fuck up. When Bubsy isn't talking, there are obnoxious sound effects in the background. If you don't have any aspirin nearby, you may want to break them out. You'll need them by the time that this is over. The episode begins with Bubsy waking up his pet, Arnold the Armadillo, and enter running joke number 2. This armadillo is extremely afraid of getting run over by a truck. And yes, this is played for laughs.
And last year, over 10,000 armadillos were run over by trucks in the state of Texas alone. For many of the poor little fellows, this is the last sound they will ever hear. Oh, the truck! Oh!
It's not funny, you sick fucks.
It wasn't supposed to be funny. It's just part of the character development.
So, you want to know how annoying Bubsy's voice is?
I'm your hero, and you're my sidekick. Oh, please. Do we have to go through this every single morning?
Imagine that for 22 minutes. The plot rings the doorbell. Bubsy's niece and nephew come over to celebrate their birthday. But our lovable hero can't be bothered to deal with them, and instead wants to watch TV. Yeah, if his voice wasn't bad enough, Bubsy is both an asshole and an idiot.
So, you mean just like you?
The twins are your typical cartoon annoying kids. You know, done as poorly as usual. And just like everything else about this animation, they never shut up. On the television, there's an interview with someone called Professor Virgil. He's created a helmet that turns your imagination into reality. Yes, really.
Invention, if used responsibly, could someday stop war and famine and eventually save the entire planet.
Yes, except no one would ever use that responsibly. Or at least selflessly. Admit it. If you had that helmet, you'd probably only use it on yourself.
So far, it's mostly blown up on Virgil's head.
Introducing the second most annoying voice in the animation.
With the first being yours.
So, Professor Virgil needs someone extremely brave, or nuts, in order to test out the helmet. And the perfect candidate just so happens to be Bubsy. And he begins to explain his heroism, with stock footage. Yes, the animators were too lazy to fill up 22 minutes, so they resorted to using stock footage. That's lazier than reusing your own animation.
That's different animation style. You think that every animation and cartoons must be like you think they must do.
At least that would show some attempt at quality. You guys did not care in the slightest. Bubsy decides to drag his niece and nephew down to Virgil Interactive, and we see our villain. Yes, this has a villain, besides Bubsy's stupidity.
If I could get my paws on that helmet, I could finally live the lifestyle that I deserve!
Then go. He was just asking for volunteers. Just go down to the lab and offer to be one. That never occurs to her. Instead, she wants to use her two bumbling minions. You ever watch 101 Dalmatians? Yeah, then you know who these two are. But in actuality, it's probably ripping off the adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Shut the fuck up! It was the other way around. It was Sonic that ripped off Bubsy, not Bubsy that ripped off Sonic. You are so fucking retarded you can't know the truth about the gaming story!
Even the art style seems to be ripping off the adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. I shouldn't have to say this, but that's not a good show. Why are you ripping off a not good show?
I know, right, that The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog is not a good show. But I mean, that show ripped off Bubsy, the Bubsy Pilot, so, well, Bubsy Pilot was good and Sonic wasn't. Well, that's the truth. So, the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog ripped off the Bubsy Pilot.
The rat is the stupid one, and the vulture is the not as stupid one. I mean the shrew and the buzzard. Running joke number 3. Also, the shrew is obsessed with food, and that turns out to be his weakness, and would presumably be his weakness in every episode in the alternate universe where this show got picked up. That universe is not a pleasant place. Fire rains down from the sky every Saturday, and bugs the size of potatoes infest every orifice. I'm getting off track. Back to something almost as bad. The villain uses her nails on the chalkboard to get their attention. FYI, sound mixers, that doesn't make Bubsy less annoying. It just makes me hate you even more!
How dare you hate Bubsy? If you don't know, the only person that is allowed to hate Bubsy is Evil Crash Bandicoot. He is the only who can hate Bubsy. All the rest can die and no one is gonna miss and...
So we cut back to Bubsy, who has just arrived at the laboratory, and enter running joke number 4. Whoever the hell that is keeps mistaking Bubsy's name. No, really, I don't know that white cat's name. I don't think they ever say it. Technobabble, and Bubsy tries on the helmet. God, the Virtual Boy looked better than that thing.
If it wasn't enough to you hate Bubsy, now you'd even like fucking Nintendo. Nintendo is stupid. Everyone knows that Nintendo sucks. And everyone hates Nintendo except for the ones with Down syndrome.
Virgil instructs Bubsy to be very specific with his thoughts, or else bad things will happen. This backfires once, the first time. Bubsy thinks about flying and everyone appears in the sky.
Okay, what now, Egghead?
Don't you dare remind me of a quality joke from a quality show ever again.
What the fuck are you talking about? Now you would even like my little penis! Dio has got to be the dumbest person of all time. But seriously, My Little Pony, are you fucking seriously? Are you fucking seriously? You got serious mental issues.
Also, because of this scene, I can no longer even count accuracy in this cartoon's favor, because in the games, Bubsy had the ability to glide. Yes, really. Arnold gets the helmet and...
Arnold, whatever you do, don't think of the truck!
Quick, don't think about cats!
Long story short, the truck appears.
And in the latest news, an 18-wheeler truck fell from the sky, killing dozens and turning our lovely streets into ruins of what they once were, scattered with charred rubble and twisted metal.
Yeah, no. Actually, they never bring the truck in the sky up again. Bubsy takes the helmet back, teleports them to Virgil Labs, and they have absolutely no explanation of what the hell happened to the truck. Yeah, they just leave a truck floating in the sky. And for some reason, Arnold is still falling when they get back to the lab. Yes, abusing him is a running gag, which I am going to fuse with the truck gag. Virgil tries to scold Bubsy, so Bubsy plays with his suspenders. I don't know. His niece and nephew tell Bubsy that they're bored and want to play with the reality-changing helmet.
What could possibly go wrong?
Bubsy tells them that the helmet is not a toy, tries to place it down, and accidentally places it on one of their heads. And the two of them run outside. The kids start fighting over the helmet, and we cut to the two bumbling idiots. They see the kids and the helmet, and decide that they want to eat the kids. It's par for the course of Dark Age cartoons. Here's the thing though, this came out in the goddamn 90s, the Renaissance age of animation. I don't know what they were thinking, there was no way the show would ever catch on. So the niece puts on the helmet.
I win a pony!
Oh my god, is there going to be some semblance of quality in this piece of shit? Is there going to be something I can actually enjoy? Is there going to be something that lets their characters breathe? And understands that they can keep kids' attention without constant noise?
Clopper.
That was ridiculous and appalling.
That's what a real pony looks like. Irrational ones, the small horses. Not that shitty colorful horses from your shitty show.
The niece and nephew keep fighting over the helmet until the buzzard lands in front of them, demanding that they hand the helmet over. All of a sudden, the kids make a roller coaster appear, and after all of this, Bubsy realizes that the helmet is missing and the twins are gone. Yeah, they were presumably just standing around waiting for their cue. And then there's an earthquake. They step outside to find a huge funfair, and they are standing on a roller coaster track. Long story short, the roller coaster runs over the armadillo and goes off, while Virgil complains that the entire world could be destroyed in the blink of an eye. Hey, Professor! Here's a tip. When you have an invention that could possibly destroy the world, you might want to keep a stronger eye on the thing. Just a thought. Bubsy decides that he wants to be a hero. More stock footage, catchphrase, and he gets run over because dumbass McGee was stupid enough to stand on a coaster track for 5 minutes. Then the roller coaster goes through a wormhole, which I'm assuming is more stock footage of some kind, while the two minions make vomiting noises in the background. After a while, Bubsy demands that the buzzard surrender. Then the niece and nephew pleading boredom make the coaster even more wild. At Bubsy's scolding, they stop the roller coaster, thrusting everyone but them off.
They should have worn their seatbelts!
Yes, an accolade should have learned how to make cartoons before trying to make cartoons. We all do stupid shit that results in unfathomable disasters. Suddenly, the niece and nephew are huge, and they step on Bubsy by accident. Fortunately, it does not kill him. Then get the truck gag again. It all ends with Bubsy getting the helmet. Unfortunately, the helmet is overloading, which means that it's going to blow up on his head. Please kill him. Please do the world a favor. Kill him. Kill him. Kill him. Please kill him. Kill him. Kill him! No, Bubsy gets all of the bad guys tied up and takes the helmet off before it breaks. More stock footage!
I don't know about you, Arnold, but the thought of our next adventure already has me tingling with excitement!
His next adventure was in Bubsy 3D, considered by many to be one of the worst video games ever made.
The people consider it as one of the worst games ever made because they're dumb and they don't know how good the game is. They don't know its greatness and they praise fucking game Mario 64. The people overhate the things that don't deserve, and they overrate things that don't deserve. So I maybe I could do a video about that. It is inspired by Goody Golax, just a disclaimer.
This adventure, however, ends with him putting the helmet back on and getting electrocuted. Of course, he hugs Arnold to get him electrocuted as well. I'm forced to assume that killed them both because this is the only episode of Bubsy, and thank God for that.
There is no gods.
So far I've done disgusting bad, and I've done insulting bad, and now I guess I can scratch annoying bad off my list. All I could say is that this was 22 minutes of pure, unadulterated annoyance. If I ever have to hear that god-awful annoying voice again, I feel like I'm going to have to shoot myself.
Do it! Just do it! And that will make the world very better. Way better than it is nowadays.
There is nothing redeemable to this idea, as copy-paste garbage from garbage, which I may have to take on at some point.
And that was Mr. Enter Talks About My Little Pony.
Yeah, this definitely won't be the last video game adapted show you'll see on here. Unfortunately, this series isn't designed to take on an entire show with just one episode, unless that show happens to be one episode long like good old Bubsy here. Of course, there is plenty of other trash I'm going to have to deal with, and because I'm absolutely psychotic, not only am I going to be trying to do one of these a week during the pony hiatus, but I'm also taking requests. Yep, just tell me the terrible episode from whatever cartoon or terrible animated movie you want me to tackle.
Do animated atrocities on all of the episodes from all of the shows and my list of the worst shows ever.
Just keep it safe for work. I'm not taking on Fritz the Cat here or Salad Fingers. If I'd have to pose a limit, it'd be at PG-14. And remember, even good shows can have terrible episodes. Just give me your request, and I'll add it to the list.
What could possibly go wrong?
So that was his stupid video about a good video game character. And it was a pretty horrible video with bad reasoning. So, fuck the DLC and fuck Bobby's haters except for Evil Crash Bandicoot. And if you dislike this video, you're a pedophile. Now bye, you faggots.